Wayne Gretzky, the best ice hockey player of all time, famously said that his secret to success was to skate where the puck was going to be, not where it had been. The same is true when it comes to crypto narratives. When everyone was hyped up about AI earlier this year, we predicted that quantum computing is where the puck will go to next, so to speak, and the recent release of Google's latest quantum chip suggests that is indeed where the puck could be heading. That's why today we're going to bring you up to speed on quantum computing, explain why the crypto industry is freaking out about it, examine how cryptos like Bitcoin could protect themselves from a quantum attack, and reveal which altcoins could moon as this narrative continues to boom. My name is Guy. Stay tuned. Okay, let's start with a quick crash course on quantum computing. Contrary to popular belief, quantum computers are not like regular computers. That's basically because they're designed to perform complex calculations. As such, you could say that quantum computers are more like calculators than computers. Now, the reason why quantum computers are so good at performing complex calculations is because they use qubits instead of bits. As you'll probably know, most computers fundamentally consists of bits of ones and zeros. I know it sounds strange, but everything you do on a computer is just, well, bits of ones and zeros. Qubits, on the other hand, can be a 1 or a 0 at the same time. This can be hard to wrap your head around, so let's use a simple example. Imagine you have a regular computer with 2 bits. What you have is, well, 2 bits of information. If you have a quantum computer with 2 qubits, however, you have 4 bits of information. That's because qubits can be a 1 and a 0 at the same time. The resulting combinations are 00, 01, 10, and 00. Notably, the number of possible combinations grows exponentially with each added qubit. So this begs the question of why everyone is going crazy over quantum computers. Well, the answer is encryption. Without getting too technical, encryption ensures that data is kept private and secure, and encryption is used in everything: emails, bank accounts, cryptocurrencies, and even the internet itself. Because quantum computers are so good at performing complex calculations, this means they could theoretically crack traditional encryption methods, specifically public key cryptography. We can use email as a very simple example here. Your email address is the public key, and your password is the private key. Once someone knows your email address, it becomes theoretically possible to guess your password and access your account. Obviously, assuming you have a strong password, of course, they would have to make quadrillions of guesses until they got it right. This would take hundreds or even thousands of years, unless they're using a quantum computer. With a quantum computer, someone could theoretically guess the password to your email in a matter of minutes, possibly seconds. They could theoretically do the same to your bank account, to your crypto wallet, and even to the internet itself. There's a key word that you've probably spotted here, though, and that's theoretically. In reality, quantum computers are very unstable. This is because qubits need to be kept in very specific conditions to operate properly, typically at very low temperatures. As a fun fact, those alien-looking machines you see when you look for images of quantum computers are the cooling systems for the qubits. In practical terms, this means that quantum computers can only use a few qubits at a time, that the calculations they run often have errors, and that these calculations only last a fraction of a second. To understand why, we can use another simple example: plate spinning, the once popular circus act. For those unfamiliar, plate spinning involves, well, spinning plates on a pole. You must spin the plate just right, or else it will fall. Now imagine that you have another spinning plate on top of the first spinning plate. That's essentially what it's like to operate a quantum computer. Qubits are like spinning plates. You can only spin a few plates at a time. The chances of you breaking the plates are high. You can only spin these plates for a few seconds before they fall, and it all gets exponentially more difficult as you start adding and stacking plates. Well, as it happens, quantum scientists are getting closer to perfecting plate spinning. And by the way, if you're enjoying the video so far, be sure to smash that like button to let us know, and subscribe to the channel and ping that notification bell so you don't miss the next one. Anyways, This ties into the reason why everyone has recently been talking about quantum computing, which is of course Google's new quantum computing chip, Willow. Now, believe it or not, but Willow's release is actually a very big deal for quantum computing and is truly analogous to getting much better at plate spinning. For starters, Willow improves the stability of qubits. You'll recall that qubits are very unstable and need to be kept in very specific conditions in order to remain stable. Logically, increased qubit stability makes it possible to run quantum computing calculations for slightly longer, in this case, 100 microseconds. You'll recall that quantum computations only last for a fraction of a second. Now, 100 microseconds might not sound like much, but it's a 5x improvement compared to Google's previous quantum computing chip, which could only run quantum computing calculations for 20 microseconds at a time. This exponential improvement in calculation time is one of the reasons why Willow is such a big deal. The main reason why Willow is a big deal, however, has to do with its error rate. You'll recall that errors are common in quantum computing calculations. Logically then, the more qubits you add, the higher the chances of error. In other words, as the capacity, i.e. the number of qubits in a quantum computer increases, so does its error rate. Willow's key innovation is that it not only reduces the error rate, but also maintains a lower error rate as the number of qubits used in a quantum calculation increases. This is the equivalent of adding more spinning plates without dropping more spinning plates. In other words, Willow has opened the door to quantum computers becoming more effective. To put things into perspective, each Willow chip has a capacity of 105 qubits, but the average connectivity is only 3.4 qubits per presentation. In plain English, only a small fraction of Willow's chip capacity is being used in quantum calculations. Most of the qubits are either helping reduce error rates or just sitting there doing nothing, the lazy buggers. In fact, entrepreneur and investor Chamath Palihapitiya revealed on an episode of the All In podcast that Willow only has one logical qubit. That is, only one of the 105 qubits is capable of processing complex calculations, and you'll recall that these calculations only last for 100 microseconds at a time. Chamath also highlighted the fact that a quantum computer would require 4,000 logical qubits to crack the RSA 2048 encryption used on the internet, and would require 8,000 logical qubits to crack the SHA-256 encryption used for Bitcoin. You'll hopefully recall that Willow only has one logical qubit. One. Now, the good news is that this means Willow and other quantum computing chips like it won't be a threat to any kind of encryption anytime soon. The bad news is that innovations around increasing computing time and decreasing error rates relative to computation set the stage for exponential development in the quantum computing industry. This means it's not a question of if, but when a quantum computer will be able to crack common forms of encryption. As a fun fact, this event is referred to as Q-Day. Many experts think that it's coming soon and that things like the internet, crypto, bank accounts, and emails will need to be quantum-proofed before then. Hey everyone, sorry to interrupt the video, but I just want to very quickly tell you about the Coin Bureau deals page. This is the place where we put together all the amazing deals and promos that we're able to offer you guys exclusively as viewers of this channel. Head on over and you will find such things as discounts on hardware wallets, some seriously impressive trading fee discounts on some of the best exchanges, as well as some frankly mind-boggling sign-up bonuses for some of those exchanges too. The link is down below. Check it out when you have a moment. Thank me later. And now, back to the video. This relates to the reason why everyone in crypto is freaking out about quantum computing and how cryptos like Bitcoin could protect themselves from a quantum attack. Let's start with the latter. In short, cryptos could protect themselves from a quantum attack by increasing or changing their encryption. Using our email example from earlier, increasing encryption would just involve using a much longer password so that it becomes much harder for a quantum computer to guess it. This is effectively what quantum resistance entails. You're just making the encryption more difficult to crack. In this sense, quantum resistance is like a cat and mouse game. Every time a quantum computer becomes more powerful, you increase the encryption, i.e. the length of the password, so that it becomes harder to guess. Now, in theory, this cat-and-mouse game can continue indefinitely. In practice, though, it might not, and that's not ideal. Case in point, Bitcoin is technically quantum resistant already. That's just because it uses an encryption method that can't currently be cracked by a quantum computer. You'll recall that this would require 8,000 logical qubits, and Google's Willow chip only has 1. Even so, this doesn't change the fact that quantum computing is evolving fast. It also doesn't count all the quantum computing development that's not been made public. A government could secretly develop a quantum computer to attack Bitcoin, and there wouldn't be enough time to increase Bitcoin's encryption in order to defend it. This is where quantum proofing comes in. Whereas quantum resistance merely involves increasing the level of encryption, quantum proofing involves changing to an encryption method that's tailor-made to protect against quantum computing attacks, one that is truly next to impossible to crack. So, using our email example from earlier, changing the encryption would involve using a new email address and password every single time you send an email. Even if a quantum computer did manage to guess your password, it wouldn't get any meaningful data about you because it's all been moved to a new email. One example of this kind of quantum-proof encryption is the Extended Merkle Signature Scheme, or XMSS, which practically does what I just explained. It generates a new private key for every new crypto transaction, making it impossible for a quantum computer to access your wallet and steal your crypto. We actually covered a small cap altcoin that uses XMSS for our Coinbureau Club members. The link is in the description if you're interested. Anyhow, in theory, switching cryptocurrencies over to quantum-proof encryption standards like XMSS would be easy and wouldn't even require a hard fork. In practice, though, many crypto projects probably don't want to switch to quantum-proof encryption because it introduces other problems. As you can imagine, using a new private key for every crypto transaction makes it extremely difficult to build complex things like DeFi protocols. Not only that, but it significantly reduces the scalability, aka the speed, of a cryptocurrency. Fortunately, solutions are in the works for both problems. Unfortunately, there is one problem with quantum proofing that has no solution, and that's the fact that everyone would need to voluntarily migrate their crypto to wallets which use the new encryption standard. As you can imagine, a lot of crypto won't be migrated in time, and some of it can't be. And this brings us back to the reason why everyone in crypto is freaking out about quantum computing. In short, they're aware of the fact that a substantial amount of crypto on major blockchains has been lost or is otherwise inaccessible. It will not be possible to quantum-proof the wallets that hold this crypto. And Bitcoin is the elephant in the room here. It's believed that as much as 3.8 million BTC has been lost or is otherwise inaccessible. That's almost 20% of BTC's circulating supply and 18% of BTC's total supply. So, how will you get the wallets holding all this BTC to send it to quantum-proofed ones? Well, I'll start by saying that this risk technically applies to older Bitcoin wallets which sent a BTC transaction using the P2PK format, which would permanently expose the private key. This includes the Bitcoin wallets believed to belong to Satoshi Nakamoto, who's estimated to hold up to 1 million BTC across multiple wallets. That said, though, it's not entirely clear how many old Bitcoin wallets sent BTC using the P2PK format, but clearly the answer is not 0, and chances are that many of them have. So I ask again, how will you get the vulnerable Bitcoin wallets holding lost BTC to send it to quantum-proofed wallets? Well, you can't. This means that millions of BTC could be stolen by a quantum computer in the future and sold on the open market, crashing Bitcoin's price. In fact, you could argue that this is inevitable. It's not a question of if, just when. This could be prevented, but it would risk the destruction of Bitcoin and all it stands for. And this is where things get really interesting. The only way to prevent the inevitable theft of lost BTC by a quantum computer would be to do a hard fork of some kind. For context, a hard fork is when a blockchain splits in two, with one being the new version of the chain and the other being the old. The most likely Bitcoin hard fork in this context would involve upgrading Bitcoin to a quantum proof standard at a fundamental level. In practical terms, this would involve creating two versions of Bitcoin, one version that's quantum resistant and another version that's not. This is the most likely hard fork in this context, as it would be the easiest to manage. However, it's possible that Bitcoin could fork in a different way. You see, to the untrained eye, there are two very straightforward solutions to the lost BTC problem. You can either reclaim this lost BTC and add it to future Bitcoin mining rewards, or something similar, or you could just delete this lost BTC from the supply. But besides practical problems like accidentally reclaiming or deleting BTC that wasn't actually lost, it would create an insurmountable philosophical problem for Bitcoin. For reference, Bitcoin's biggest selling point is that you are truly in control of the BTC you own. Nobody can move it, change it, etc., except you. Newsflash, but reclaiming or deleting BTC would completely destroy this value proposition and Bitcoin's philosophical foundation with it. It would literally make BTC no different from any fiat currency. After all, once you've modified BTC's supply once, what's to stop you from doing it again? It would set a terrible precedent. And yet, this is a scenario that is possible. Depending on how quantum computing evolves, the Bitcoin community could be forced to make a very difficult decision about BTC's lost supply. Heck, you could argue that hard forking Bitcoin just to make BTC quantum-proof would have the same effect on its ethos. As believers in Bitcoin's value proposition and its philosophical foundation, we would be in favor of allowing a quantum computer to steal and sell lost BTC if it meant that BTC's integrity was upheld. It goes without saying, though, that not everyone feels this way. Asset managers like BlackRock, for instance, could feel very differently. And you can learn more about how BlackRock could influence future Bitcoin forks using the link in the description. Now, this brings me to the big question, and that's which cryptos could benefit from the quantum computing narrative. The short answer is quantum computing cryptos, which you can easily find on crypto tracking websites like CoinMarketCap. Just keep in mind, though, that these lists are incomplete. The longer answer pertains to another thing to keep in mind, and that's not all quantum computing cryptos are legit. Put differently, not all quantum computing cryptos offer actual quantum resistance, and it seems that only a couple are truly quantum-proofed. You'll recall that there's a difference. Now, from our perspective, the quantum computing cryptos that will benefit the most will be the ones that are developing quantum-resistant and quantum-proofed encryption for other, larger crypto projects. This will be especially true of cryptos providing these solutions for institutions, particularly governments. In turn, crypto projects that are the first to adopt quantum-resistant and quantum-proof encryption will experience the biggest gains. In fact, it's possible that these cryptos will perform even better than cryptos that are specific to quantum computing. Think Ethereum or Solana, for instance, becoming quantum-proof. On that note, you should know that there seems to be a buzz around quantum-proof encryption in the Ethereum community. What's fascinating is that this isn't because of threats from quantum computers per se. Rather, it's because of new technical challenges that are being posed by things like restaking. We'll leave a link to a presentation done by Ethereum researcher Justin Drake down in the description if you're interested. He talks about exactly what I just explained, quantum-proof encryption being used to solve new problems created by restaking. It turns out that single-use private keys have their uses. This suggests that the most promising quantum computing cryptos will come from or be related to Ethereum's ecosystem. Members of the Coin Bureau Club will know that one quantum-resistant crypto is already in the process of pivoting to Ethereum. I'll remind you that the link is below. But you'll recall that crypto projects probably aren't rushing to adopt quantum-proof encryption. To refresh your memory, quantum-proof encryption is difficult to build with and makes crypto blockchains slower. The silver lining, though, is that this presents an opportunity for quantum computing-focused cryptos. Any quantum computing crypto that's building blockchain developer tools for quantum-resistant and quantum-proof encryption could likewise benefit, though this is probably something that most investors won't understand. Speaking of which, quantum computing is objectively harder to understand than AI. And what this means is that all these details probably won't matter. In the end, these quantum computing cryptos will probably pump simply because stocks related to quantum computing are also pumping, such as Google. Put differently, quantum computing cryptos will be meme coins for all intents and purposes. So let's just hope that some of them actually build some quantum-resistant and quantum-proof encryption, because at the rate that this industry is evolving, these solutions will be needed sooner rather than later. Okay, if you want to learn more about quantum computing, then check out our previous video on it here, which breaks down a recent industry report into the sector, or you can check out our video from earlier this year where we looked at why quantum computing could become a bigger deal than even AI. That's over here. Please do like, subscribe, and do all that other stuff that brings a ray of sunshine to my day, and I'll see you again soon.